Coming up next on Parent Connection, a conversation with Kimberly Ellison-Taylor from Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority. Welcome to Parent Connection. Today, our guest is Kimberly Ellison-Taylor from the Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority, the Annapolis chapter.
Yes.
So, first of all, Kimberly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. I live in Baltimore when I grew up, and today I live in Bowie, Maryland with my two boys. I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I live with my college sweetheart. We met at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County 24 years ago.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's wonderful.
And so you know the challenges of being a parent with two boys, just one getting ready to go into adolescence, really.
Yes.
So these wonderful teen years.
Yes, they're always in motion. So I think parents who have boys definitely understand that.
Oh, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit first about Sigma Gamma Rho, the Annapolis chapter, or I guess before we even talk about the Annapolis chapter, let's talk about it, the sorority, the actual sorority nationally.
Absolutely. So when I was at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, I had an opportunity to look across the organizations and determine that Sigma Gamma Rho was one that best fit my ideals. The founders were 7 educators. It was founded on November 12th, 1922 by 7 educators, as I've just said. And so when I thought about sisterhood, scholarship, and service, and thought about all of the different ideals and things that they do, I said, this is an organization I really could be a part of. And so now I've been a member for 25 years. Sigma Gamma Rho has more than 500 chapters throughout the United States and the world, and we operate on a number of different levels, local, regionally, and nationally. And so we have training opportunities, networking opportunities, and opportunities to fellowship and do community service all at the same time.
And that's wonderful. And one of the good things about being in a sorority or fraternity is you do it during your college years, but then you can carry it on, and almost all of those chapters have alumni groups. And I think lots of people don't understand that those alumni groups do lots of things back for colleges, some of the college students sometimes as well, mentors and things like that, but also so many community-based type things. So tell us a little bit about what the Annapolis chapter does.
Absolutely. So the Annapolis chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority is really a chapter of women across industries. So we have educators, we have stay-at-home moms, we have engineers and attorneys. I'm a certified public accountant, so I'm very proud of that. So we have accountants and business analysts and other people who work in the government. And so we bring all of those disciplines together to really work and support the families and youth in Annapolis and across the Anne Arundel County community. And so we're working on a number of different levels. Just as you've just said, we can help back at our undergraduate institutions, we can support the mayor and his objectives or any of the other things that are going on. So we want to be an active part of the Annapolis community. And so we're bringing all of that talent to bear to do whatever we can to support the families.
Which is really important that we do have. I know with the school system, that's one of our really important goals, is to have community partners and sororities and fraternities and get with people who have like-mindedness like we do. You know, and really want to help our youth, because we know that our youth need mentors, they need lots of different things and lots of different people to give input. And sometimes it's just important, sometimes, as you know, with your children and certainly with mine as well, lots of times they'll listen to someone from the outside more than they'll listen to us.
True.
You know, they look at us as their parents, and, you know, we don't know anything and all. But lots of times just somebody saying the exact same thing we're saying, but telling it to them in maybe a different platform or a different place, really will connect with them for one reason or another.
Well, that's absolutely true. Within the Annapolis chapter, Sigma Gamma Rho, and our chapters Lambda Delta Sigma, we also have a youth affiliate. and we call it our Rower Club. And so that's a club for young girls aged 13 to 18 where we are providing them that mentorship. We're providing them assistance, maybe with filling out financial aid applications, working on public speaking, self-esteem, and confidence. We want them to grow up and know who they are and not look to the outside public to define who they should be.
Right.
Especially with social media running so rampant, it's really important to have such strong, positive role models.
It really is, and that goes back to that character education.
Absolutely.
Which we do tend to rely on partners and different affiliations to come in and help us with that character building with the students.
Absolutely.
Because I think that is something that we want students to know, that there are lots of people out there that really do care about them. It's not just their family or just their teachers, but there's a whole nother world open to them. And I like the idea of how your sorority also shows them kind of a path to the future, things that they will be able to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And when they see you successful and all of your sisters successful and still that bond going on, it makes them think about their college years, and that's
Right.
what we want them thinking about from elementary up, going to college and what they're going to do. You know, they don't need to know what they're doing, but just that they're going to go
Exactly.
and looking for that future.
Having grown up in Baltimore, I can tell you that is very important to have an expectation that you're going to go to college. Because
Right.
for a lot of our youth, they don't necessarily understand that there are options. There are fields in the military, there are trades that they could do if they didn't
Right.
decide to go to college. But we want them to be contributing members of society, and we want them to understand that they can do anything that they choose and want to. Growing up in the inner city of Baltimore, I graduated valedictorian from my high school. And so I was able to use education as a leveler of the playing field. And I don't
Right.
know if our youth, especially if they come from more modest means,
Right.
understand that if you go to school and you do well and you do your studies and you listen to your parents, that it really will pay off in the long run. And so when we look at all of the youth programs and opportunities to support youth, we looked across the various age groups. We're partnering with Georgetown East Elementary School. The principal, Andre Dillard, is amazing. And so we're partnering with him. And we were really, I think, on the fence about what age group. And so do we go to high school, middle school, and elementary school? And I think what we determined is that at the elementary school age, we can really provide those seeds and start shaping their
Right.
minds and the expectations of what they'll do in the future. And we will support middle school and elementary school as well. We have a program that provides school supplies called Operation Big Book Bag. So before the school year starts every year, we'll look at the school supply list and we'll try to get as many of those things as we possibly can. And so we work with the state and we work with some of the social services departments and also some of the faith-based organizations
Right.
to give those school supplies. But we're going to be working with Georgetown East on a more regular, frequent basis.
Well, I think that's really good because one thing is telling your story. It's always important. I say that to people all the time. Tell your story of where you came from. And so
Absolutely.
they can see successful people and know that education is your pathway to that. You know, like you said, I loved how you said it leveled the playing field, because that's exactly what it does. And we need our youth to understand that no matter what your circumstances are now, you're not defined by that. That's
Right.
just something that you're living in right now. So I think that is so critical to this whole thing. And I love that you're picking a particular school and focusing on that, because then those students are going to get to know you. They're going to get to know the different sisters within your organization and,
Absolutely.
and get that personal relationship. And we know with mentoring, that's really an important part of it too, is the personal relationship. And so tell us about other things that you're doing locally, or how you feel like what you're doing at Georgetown East, what your sisters feel like there. How do they, lots of times we hear that they feel like they're getting as much as the students, but What are the,
Oh,
what's
we're
their
getting
take
so
on that?
much more. I mean, we had a recent opportunity to work at McDonald's for their McDonald's night at Georgetown East Elementary School. And so I worked the shakes, someone else worked the fries. And so I had a moment where I looked and I said, wow, I have my engineer. So we had a sorority sister who's an engineer working the fries and someone else who's in the government. And we did it out of the love for the students. There was an opportunity. McDonald's did an amazing job providing 20% of whatever was brought in back to Georgetown East. So we were happy to support. And so when you saw the little faces come up to the counter, and of course they were asking for their free homework pass, it was so rewarding. I mean, I stood on my feet and I was thinking, one, I have an appreciation. I will never complain again.
Right.
Never again about how long it takes. But it was also for a very good cause. We're also going to be supporting the STEM lab at Georgetown East Elementary School, because we think it's important that our kids have opportunity and access to technology. I did not grow up, although I majored in information systems, I did not grow up with computers. I don't think I even really touched one until I was in college. And to think, when we fast forward, that our kids and youth and babies are touching computers. I mean, my kids can program my phone. So I know that the sky's the limit for them. They can do anything that they want to do because they have the tools and the opportunity to do so. We just need to provide them the access and the means.
That's exactly right, because they are going to be in jobs that we don't even know exist right now.
That's
and that's the important thing, you know, that we have to keep in mind too as educators, that we couldn't have imagined some of the jobs when we were in school. The same thing when I was in school. And I'm older than you, so I could tell you the computer was in a big room somewhere.
Correct.
And we went in and we were doing the little things on the cards and database and that kind of thing.
That's true.
But I actually had children before we had a personal computer. And we were kind of an early adopter for those things. We did have one before a lot of people did, but still, it didn't even have a mouse.
Nope.
And you think about that to what, like you said, what your children are doing now. And I know my 3.5-year-old grandson, who can not just use my iPad and iPhone, but
it's amazing.
Play games on it, do things on it. He can actually order his own apps and download apps. And who would have thought that that would be possible, you know? So those are things that we're so fortunate to have your sorority there and all of the caring people that are members of it to make that bond with them. I've heard about your youth symposium.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what's
so
there,
in the
what's involved
spring,
in that.
so this is exciting. So in the spring, we partner with, at this time, Georgetown East Elementary School, but we've partnered with schools like Fort Meade High School, and so we've gone to other places, Robinwood Community Center. So Georgetown East is a really good place for us to have the youth symposium. And so we're going to have a session on anti-bullying and cyberbullying. We know that that is very, very important. And as a parent, I know I had to speak with my sons about it, not to participate, not to validate someone else doing it, and to go and tell someone if you see it happening. We're also going to have a session on water and swim safety, because a lot of kids are not able to fully swim. So we want them to be responsible. We also are going to talk about spending and saving. So we want them very early.
I like that,
I have one son that will save every dime and one that will spend everything. So I want them both to be in those sessions. And then, of course, we also have a session on STEM careers. So we're going to talk about the S, which is science, technology, the T, E, engineering, and math. And we're going to do some demonstrations and show them the options that are available to them. We're very pleased that the mayor's office is going to send someone. We also have a number of the local organizations and fraternities coming, the YWCA, the Girl Scouts. We also have someone who's going to be talking about law enforcement from the police department, and the fire department coming to talk about fire safety. I think I could certainly benefit from hearing how do you get out of a home safely, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. So I think it's going to be an amazing day. And then we're going to do physical fitness. I'll tell you, we're on the fence. We were on the fence about the lunch, but I think we realized that the kids, while carrots and broccoli and celery would be good, I think we said we would complement the pizza with the vegetables.
Right,
Because
right.
otherwise, we didn't think the kids would necessarily enjoy it as
No.
much as we would.
And it's all about balance anyway. You know, show them
Exactly.
that it's fine to have pizza, not every week, not every day, but it's fine to have pizza, but then balance it with some
Oh, it's
other
tough
good
though.
things. Right, right.
We were like, we want to have a health conscious
Right.
message, but it's about moderation, I think. And so we support the Let's Move campaign. We want all of the kids to have fresh fruits and
Yes.
vegetables. So we're going to have health nutrition, looking at the labels and understanding portion size, because I know most of us do not necessarily understand portion size.
Right.
And I've been to other countries and I've looked at the plates and I'm like, oh, there's not enough food. And then I realized early on that that was the portion size.
I know.
And that our sizes probably are 2-3 sizes.
That's exactly it. We do in this country, if you know, even how we eat and thinking of it now, and when you're actually watching it and you start to hear, oh, you know, your protein is the size of the palm of your hand, and wow, you know, so you really do have to keep all of those things in mind. But
Exactly.
that's great, and really, I notice that when we're working with students on wellness and nutrition, and that those are things that they really pick up and stick with.
Right.
My children certainly eat much healthier than I do, and I think a lot of it was with working with coaches and different things within school and reading labels. They were always big on that
yes.
because it started at school, though.
That's
I
true.
wasn't necessarily reading the labels, but they did.
That's
And so
true.
that kind of helped everybody in that situation. So let's talk a little bit about who Sigma Gamma Rho really partners with already, and other partnerships that you have, and some that maybe you'd like to develop.
Oh, absolutely. So we have our youth partnership, but we're really also proud of our partnership with the Annapolis Senior Center.
Oh.
And so we had the opportunity to support their holiday party. We've gone over to do line dancing with them. The executive director is amazing. So we are going to be working with them more closely because we also respect the youth on one end, but we know that the foundation of the youth was provided by our seniors. And so we need the seniors to feel loved and appreciated for what they've done. And so whenever we go, there's always a wealth of information. I learn so much every single time that we're there. And so we'll be continuing to work with the Senior Center. And so we'll be partnering with them and continuing to do so. We also are partnered with Operation Welcome Home Maryland. And so we had the opportunity to go and greet the troops.
That's wonderful.
Oh my gosh. When you talk about the tears and the emotions of seeing families who haven't seen each other in a long time, and when the troops get off the plane, we have noisemakers and signs, and we're like, thank you so much for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's wonderful.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Because like you said, when they come to airports, it's not necessarily the airport that their family is going to be there.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes they fly them one place, but their family lives somewhere else.
That is very true. So when they see that friendly face, some of them are very surprised. When they get off the plane and they see us clapping and cheering, and you can see how shy they are. And I said, oh my goodness, look how modest our heroes are. They're
Right.
sacrificing themselves in harm's way, and yet they are not expecting any praise or gratitude. And so with Operation Welcome Home, we actually help fill up the snack bags, and they receive donations. I mean, my kids, when I told them, I said there was candy and snacks that were like a mile high. And they said, really? Why didn't you tell us?
Right.
Well, the
Maybe we'll
candy
go
we'll go too. It's like, no, the candy's for the troops and their family. So we help pack the snack bags, and we laid wreaths down on the graves. So that was really emotional.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, it was. And we donated wreaths. And so we want to support our troops. We're here with Fort Meade. We want our troops to understand that what they do, we do not take for granted. And so, especially being in the Anne Arundel County area, we have the opportunity to go over to BWI Airport
Right.
and also support them down at the Naval Academy, which is where the laying of the wreaths took place. So we also have other partnerships. So we have a partnership with the Girl Scouts of America. And so we've, in the central region area, we were able to partner with them for their STEM scientific, they had a science judging project. Our members came and helped judge. And so there are a number of us who are parents of Girl Scout
Right.
members.
Oh, nice.
So that's great. We partner as an organization with St. Jude. And so when St. Jude actually came to the area, members of the Sigma Gamma Rho Lambda Delta Sigma went over and walked And we also raise funds, and we provided donations out of our own pockets. We also have a partnership with the YWCA that we're refining and reforming. And so we're looking forward to supporting if they have programs for families for domestic
Right.
violence or anything to support people with health challenges. We're going to be supporting Maryland's Homeless Event Day on March 28th of this year, but I'm sure it's going to take place every year.
Right, pretty much every March. Well, this I believe is the 4th or 5th.
Yes.
I did it the first year and
Oh,
second year.
really?
And
That's
it
great.
is a wonderful event, but the same thing, it's not possible without volunteers. It's not possible without
Exactly.
groups like yourself and people to get in there and do the work. And it is a wonderful day to really help our homeless and many of them are veterans too, but our homeless
That's true.
individuals, and get them the resources that they need, hopefully to move them forward so they can get out of that situation. And it's wonderful working with the group. You talk to them, and they are people that are just like you and I,
Right.
that have something has happened,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whether it's mental health, whether it was an illness in the family, lots of different situations that now you can see that they're not so different as you, and maybe many of us could be in that situation
That's
if just
true.
one or two things had changed in our lives. So I think one of the things I really like hearing about everything that you're doing is that it's certainly making your lives richer, but those are experiences that you can share with the students at Georgetown East
Absolutely.
and other students that you work with anywhere, and let them know all the different things that they can do and give back, and what it means to actually be a volunteer in your community. Because if we don't grow them young, we won't have them, and that is something
true.
that if they see people like you coming in and volunteering, working with them, and all the great things you're doing with them, what a perfect model for them to go, and once they are successful, give back. And, you know, hopefully even start in the high school level giving back and doing things, because they have opportunities more at that level,
That's true.
secondary level, to do that.
And they need service hours.
Yes.
So they need service hours, and they also can write about it on essays. So when they're applying to college, or when they're trying to get into a middle school, or they want to get a scholarship or grant, there are a number of different reasons where it's just a great idea. I mean, to whom much is given, much is required. And so that's what I try to teach my kids, that it's not just enough to be fortunate. It's
Right.
really to provide the helping hand to give someone else an opportunity.
Well, and I think that just by the breadth of what you're saying that your sorority does, it's not one focus. You know, we're only
No.
focused one place. You seem to be all over the place.
We are.
And that's like an advantage for Anne Arundel County, and certainly Anne Arundel County Public Schools.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what we're looking for, you know, for people just like you going out there and giving back. And we're hoping that when people see what you're doing, it's not going to be maybe just something that they want to help you with, which would be perfect.
Oh, that would be great.
But also that they'll think about organizations that maybe they're in that can give back, and what things they could do. Because when you share such a breadth of starting with elementary school students and helping them with school supplies, helping them with events, character
Yes.
education,
Yes.
and just going on right up through military and senior citizens. Wow, that's a lot, and that's
is.
something that we could really benefit lots of other groups doing. So
Absolutely.
tell us what some of the other things that you all are doing,
it's a lot.
and then how you manage all of that. You manage working,
Yes.
being a parent,
Yes.
and being the president of this wonderful
Yes.
organization, and also doing all the different events.
I think that's a really good question. And so women always ask us that when we're thinking about becoming a member, because anyone can become a member of our organization. So we have an affiliate group called the Philos, and we also have our Lambda Delta Sigma chapter. The Lambda Delta Sigma chapter membership, if you have to have a 4-year degree, but to be a member of our Philo affiliate, you have to be a community leader. And so you don't necessarily have to have a degree. So we have 2 opportunities for people
Wow, that's
to
really
join us.
good.
It is. So we encourage people to seek us out and seek membership, but how we do it is because it's based on your passion. Everyone has an interest. You don't have to do it all. It's a pie. Just like as a
Right.
mother, I know it's a pie. So for some of us, we're in different seasons. Some of us are in school, some of us are raising our kids. We don't see all of us all of the time, but they're all providing support. And thanks to social media and technology, they don't always have to be there physically in every
Right,
meeting.
right.
And so many of us will have different causes and issues. So for instance, someone else's cause could be Susan G. Komen. And so
Yes.
that's a partnership we have because we have the Hattie McDaniel Breast Cancer Awareness Program initiative for Sigma Gamma Rho nationally. And locally, it's through our support of Susan G. Komen that we execute that initiative. And so we went and volunteered at Hunt Valley. So we got up at 3:30 in the morning. I was like, oh, is anyone going to show up? Well, when people are passionate and they care, I always ask our members, find a thing that you would do even if you were tired all day and you had to get up
Right.
early, you'd still be willing to do. And so 3:30 in the morning, we were outside ready to get in our cars and drive an hour and a half for some of us to Hunt Valley. We're walking and racing, some of us, in the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. That's going to be on the National Mall. That's
Oh,
every year.
And yes, my sorority is involved in that
Yes,
too.
we're doing the March of Dimes Walk.
Wow.
So, and we're also doing the National Alliance for Mental Health Walk. And so those are 3 opportunities where we invite everyone to come and join and walk with us. We know mental health is a challenge in our communities. People
Yes,
don't
it
always get the
is.
support that they need. And unfortunately, we see it in sometimes not very well. And so we want to give visibility to that. So we definitely are going to be walking. And then Susan G. Komen, we have so many survivors and people who know other people.
Yes.
And when I went, it was just a celebration of life. And I mean, I'm in
Exactly.
tears because the people are just so happy to be there. They're hugging each other. They don't even know each other.
Right.
They're hugging each other. And so we will be doing that as well. And so, but that ties health, fitness, nutrition. Sometimes as moms, we don't always pay attention to ourselves. We're taking care of everyone else.
Exactly.
But this gives us an opportunity to loop our families in to these walks and also at the same time be focused on our own getting self exams and going to the doctor
Right.
and getting the treatments that we need in a more timely fashion. So we are definitely going to be doing all of those different walks.
That is just really wonderful. Just hearing the breadth of everything that you really are doing. And we are so thankful for your
Yes.
partnership. We truly are in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. And we truly hope that, our viewers, as they're watching this,
hope so.
hopefully some of them want to get involved, and you have opened that door to say
Right.
there are lots of different ways that you can get involved. So that's
Absolutely.
wonderful, and we'll share that information with them on how they can get involved. But we hope that also other people that are seeing this are going to look at it and say, we want to do what they're doing. Our organization could do some
And
of
they
that.
can partner with us.
Yes.
We welcome the opportunity to walk with you, to do community school supplies. We're going to be doing the Zumba walk in Annapolis. So there are a number of different things that they could walk with us and do
Yes.
or partner with us for the seniors, for the youth. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I have some ideas in my mind right now as we're talking that I'll share with
Oh,
you later.
I'm excited.
But Kimberly, I want to just thank you so much for coming and sharing about your sorority and being here with us. And you want to tell us how our viewers can get information?
Absolutely. So they can look at our website, which is Lambda Delta Sigma, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority. We are the Annapolis chapter, so we support Annapolis and Anne Arundel County communities. But we also can be reached at info, I-N-F-O, at sgr-lds.org. And I'm looking forward to speaking with anyone as a follow-up to this program.
Well, that's wonderful. Again, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
We really appreciated it. And thank you for joining us also. Until next time.
Hi, I'm Wiley Baker. Sports abound here in Anne Arundel County. Join me for another edition of Athletes in Action later today, right here on aacps-tv.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Porter. And the Arundel County Public Schools Department of Transportation is raising the level of awareness for the safety of your children as we transport them to and from school. When a school bus stops to load students, as a driver, this is what you will see. At 150 feet, the bus will activate hazard lights. At 100 feet, the bus driver will activate the amber lights. They will start slowing down. At 10 feet before the bus stops, they will turn on the red bus lights. Their stop sign will come out, and students will begin to load. Once all students are on board safely, the bus driver will turn off red lights and move forward. At this time, it is safe for the motorist to resume movement.